Okay, awesome. Can everybody see the slideshow screen?
Yes.
Okay, good.
This is 18.
I know it's hard to share excitement when you're on Zoom, so thank you so much for bearing with me here. I am actually really excited to see a lot of you. This is going to be a very interesting year. Obviously, we're coming out of a pandemic election year, which obviously we've never experienced before, but I'm going to hit on a lot of things that happened this year going into last year, going into this year, some ways that I think we can improve quality of our brand and business and how we work together for 2021. So it's 10:02, so let's get started, all right? So here's our agenda. We're going to do a quick recap of 2020. We are going to set some expectations for 2021. We're going to talk about the mission for 2021, goals, and some changes. So going back to January and February, some of you may remember we were geared up to do our first build out for our new office. It was gorgeous. Long story short, as March came along, they had not finished build and they demanded the rest of the monies due prior to completion. I said no. We lost a pretty significant deposit, which definitely hurt, but they ended up not finishing till I think I was like July, August. So we would have had paid a full amount for a property we could not have even occupied for quite some time because they never finished it. They didn't finish it till the end of mid-end part of summer. So anyway, then of course March through May we had a hardcore shutdown. WSR was significantly impacted. I'm sure all of you felt that. To have pretty much a line drawn in the sand saying you can no longer operate in your business. That was very painful. A lot of you got really clever, got smart. You kind of readapted. You took those couple months to figure out new ways to come out of the gate swinging. And many of you did that. So congratulations to each of you. Now on May 7th, when we reopened, it was bananas. And the demand has been outrageous, but also the supply has been at an all-time low. So while we see, properties getting snatched up, we're definitely seeing less inventory sold over this year versus last year. I do think that means there's still a bit of a bottleneck and there's going to be plenty of sellers available in the next year. So keep that in mind. But I'm happy to report that at the end of the year, WSR in whole was up 95% in sales volume. We did 53% more transactions than the previous year. We had 52% more agents. So that was overall, we did show growth, and I was very excited to share that with you guys. And I'm hoping that we can exceed those numbers going into 21. So let's talk about some expectations. Ironically, there's another real estate broker in Ann Arbor. We did some predictions in March for how we felt the pandemic would affect the remainder of the year. And I'm very, very proud to say that so far, everything's been just as we expected. There was little to no fluctuation downward in property value. There was definitely some confidence, some consumer confidence that was more volatile than normal. But overall, we've seen a high demand for property, especially on lake front areas. Anywhere with pools are now, pools used to be considered kind of a pro and a con. Some people didn't really look forward to having one, but now everybody wants their home to be a resort. The sales at Home Depot and Lowe's skyrocketed. Lumber, anybody that's in the building industry, especially I think John's on here, saw a huge jump up in that cost, and that clearly made some changes and fears resonate with people doing rehab projects and new build. Some people actually switched to steel because steel, they found new ways to use steel at a better fraction of a price. That was pretty interesting to see as well. Moving on, I think one of the expectations we all have is we're hopeful for decreased fatality and spread rates. I did lose a couple of members of my family due to COVID. A lot of the agents, not a lot of the agents, probably a handful of the agents did end up getting COVID. One of them, their parent was in the hospital for over 100 days. It was a very, very scary thing for that individual. And, obviously our heart went out to them, and they seem to be making a recovery, but not everybody was so fortunate. I'm glad we lost no one in our WSR family directly anyway. Demand has remained high. We kind of hit on that. Record sales are still expected for 21. I would anticipate probably 20% increase in sold properties this year. And I want to remind you guys, there's a sales rule of 3 months in real estate. Whatever you're closing on is the direct result of what you have been doing for the last 3 months. Everything you're going to close on in the next 3 months is the direct result of what you did today. So make sure whatever you're doing today, if you're not happy with what you're selling in this moment, you get busy so you can have some closings in the next quarter. I am definitely pretty heavy in investment right now. I have my personal goals. I actually want to get into apartment building owning. So I've been setting aside some money for that. I've been working with a couple of agents in the group who also have those same hopes. I do think that the passive investment vehicle, plus with the cash out refi benefits of paying off your initial principal and regaining that, is a huge move. We're going to be doing a lot of talk about investment. I definitely encourage it. If you guys ever have questions about how you can get into it, feel free to open it up in the chat or call me directly. I love talking about this stuff. Don't be shy. And then I want to definitely hit on the fact that I think residential value and sales will be up, but I do expect commercial to go down. So keep an eye on commercial. I don't know if you know about Quicken Loans, a lot of other companies, but Quicken Loans has set some new expectations to no longer be heavy in the downtown offices. Obviously, they built up downtown Detroit significantly. And in that, because they're such a large company, when one person was getting sick, they'd have to evacuate the whole building. And that was very common because of the size of employees that they are, the size of the company they are. So I do expect a lot of companies to be shutting down and reneging on their commercial leases. I've been seeing it. I have a lot of friends at Thomas Duke, which is a commercial real estate broker. And they are seeing a lot of issues also with leases. In fact, the funny thing is, like, there are a lot of commercial leases I've been interested in for us, and I've been looking at taking those on. But whenever I do go negotiate with these places, they have spaces that have been vacant for a year or 2 years, and they're still asking the same rate. And I said, listen, I'm happy to take over the space. I'm willing to work with some unique terms, but at the end of the day, I'm not paying you what you were trying to get a year or two ago amidst your increasing vacancy. And that's the thing that's very interesting about commercials. So pay attention to that. I think there's going to be a really good opportunity to buy commercial property coming up very fast. So keep an eye on that. If you know people who have commercial spaces and they can't figure out how to adapt, tell them to sell while they can. I definitely recommend that. And if you ever have questions about that, again, I'm happy to open up that conversation. So let's talk about the mission for 2021. I really want to get all of our goals realigned. For one, I had big goals for 2020, and they were definitely hindered. I did better than expected, considering how the year went, but it was definitely a lot of readapting and trying to figure out what side is up, which I'm sure all of you experienced. One thing that I really am sad about for WSR is I think it really hurt our culture. And for this year, I really want to work on that with all of you. I don't know how easy it will be to rebuild it the way it might have been in the past and the direction it was headed. But if that means more Zoom meetings or trying to do some outdoor activities once it's not super cold out, then great. I'm happy with even doing a cider or a hot chocolate day, at the park. Just bundle up, bring the kids. Let's do something just to be outside. But in general, I want to make sure that we're being respectful of everybody's worries regarding health and safety protocols. So we're going to try our best to do that. We also want to work on improving our core processes for our back end as a brokerage. I think we've made some major strides in the last 2 years, but we have a few more things we're going to talk about later in this call that are going to hit on those in a more detailed manner. And again, one of the big things we want to do is start reconnecting with all the agents with check-ins and offerings as well as doing one-on-ones. I think that's one thing that I want to work on personally as a broker. I know most brokers would never even talk about doing that. They wouldn't even offer that, but that's a big thing for me. I know a lot of you have made calls to me and you thank me, and I appreciate that, because I appreciate being appreciated, but I appreciate that I have that connection with you guys. I think that's what makes us more unique. But I want to continue to maintain that standard of communication with each of you. So let's talk about goals. So here's my first cliche piece. Vince will feel free to correct me, but I do believe we're going to be better than ever. I used to say this a few years ago, and I totally forgot about it, but Vince reminded me the other day. I used to say things like, if you like us now, you're going to love us later. And I still believe that we continue to improve, and we'll show you some ways that we're doing it this year. So we have some metric goals. I do want us to get up to 100 agents. We're circling around 50 right now. I think we're at 49. And we have 100 million in sales volume is our goal for this year. I'm going to do, oh shoot, I'm sorry, should remove that dollar sign, but 450 transactions. But my non-metric goal is simply to listen to and improve WSR for our agents. So if you have recommendations, I want to hear them. I want to employ whatever strategy it takes to make sure we are growing and happy as a WSR family. Let's get to the changes. This is the part we've all been waiting for, right? Listening has created changes for us. I've been listening to a lot of you, your needs, your wants. And honestly, we're going on 4 years as a company here. And literally every single year we have improved pricing. I don't know if you guys know that. Some of you guys haven't been around that long, but every single year we've had an improvement to pricing that benefits your dollars in your pocket. And we haven't stopped this year. You guys asked for more training, and the training plus the pandemic gave me time to do videos. So I've done over 28 personalized videos for you, which is good because, you know, a lot of brokerages will offer this standard training that has nothing to do with their MLS, your CRM, or your processes. What we do is we actually make stuff for you. And I want to remind you all, if there's a video you feel like or a process that you're struggling with, especially with transactions, tell me what it is. I'll do a recorded, personalized training with you where we record what we need to learn. Like I know we're just talking to Antonio about this because he just got back in it. We can do that for you too. And we'll record it. We'll save it to our WSRRealtor.com site, which is where all of our training materials are stored. And we'll make sure you have it forever. You can always go back and replay it, and you can take notes on everything else in there. I've also added some written training in there over the last year or two. Some of you know I've been working on a book for over 2 years now. Sorry, it's been 2 years, but we've had some curveballs this last year. I was supposed to finish it last year, but it's over 120 pages right now. And largely, it started off as a real estate training book on how to develop six-figure businesses. And it was written by myself and another six-figure broker, Luke, actually. And we were trying to show people how to be a modern-day professional agent and earn money in reasonable ways through building the relationships you have with your current community and friends, and also kind of leveraging social media. So that thing, you know, in its draft form, I do share that with some of you. If you guys ever do want to read it, you're welcome to. I'm also very open to feedback. But I just want to make sure you guys know about that. That goes back to us listening. And a lot of the stories and examples in that book are what I've learned from being a broker here at WSR. Number two, watching has created changes for us. I've seen that agents have needed help with transactions, and we stepped in. This year was absolutely exhausting. March through May, I paid my dues in every way being a broker. I can't even tell you. We had a record, probably 40 released contracts in 2 months. I have never, ever seen that ever in my days combined. If you added up all 4 years combined, I've never seen what we saw due to the pandemic and the shutdown with the governor. Why? Because most people, they could no longer afford their mortgages. People were getting furloughed, jobs were being lost. Mortgage companies were creating new strict criteria for being offered mortgages to their clients. And because of that, there was releases left, right, and center. I know Harry and I were working on one at some point too.
No, I'm here. I'm down here.
John might have worked on a couple. And let's see. So yeah, we did a lot to step in on those and try to save deals. Some deals took a couple months to save, but we did what we could. Pro agents didn't ask for anything though. And that kind of I started to notice, I was like, you know what? Just because I don't have some of my more experienced and pro agents hitting the button saying, hey, I need help on something, or hey, something could be better, it didn't mean I didn't need to pay attention to them. So that's one thing I did change for this 2021 year. I'm going to explain that in a little bit. So these are the changes starting in place in the next 6 days. Moving forward, agents will be allowed one listing input per month by our staff at no cost. I don't know about you guys, but I've been in this game a while. The one thing I can't stand doing is putting in a listing. I think it's the most annoying process. I mean, it's not that bad, but it's probably of all the paperwork you have to do, it's probably the worst that you have to do as an agent. So what we're doing is we created a team. We have a new staff. We have Patricia. Hi, Patricia. Shelby has also been helping out a ton, as well as Samantha. Thank you, all three, for all of your help over this last year. Thank you so much. But we're going to be helping work on that, so you guys don't have to get caught in the weeds when you are doing listings. I know Ethan's got a listing coming up. Feel free to lean on us for that too. Suite Assist. So Suite Assist is a very interesting software. I actually discovered it with one of the largest independent brokers in the nation. They have, I think, 1,100 agents right now, and they're mostly based out of California. I became friends with them because I was doing a lot of mastermind groups over the last 2 years, and they showed it to me, and I poked and prodded at their software, and I said, hey, one thing that you guys are definitely missing is recruiting and onboarding, as well as some back end process, housekeeping stuff. And I helped build it out for them, and now I'm actually part owner and a software developer with this company. So it's become a huge process, and that's one thing that, I guess, in light of the pandemic, I was able to focus on helping finish that software and process. But the benefit is now we are part owners in a software that's going to be used across the nation, and it's amazing. It's actually amazing. So one thing we didn't do last year that we're going to do now is commission disbursement authorization. So I know a lot of you don't really worry or maybe have never even questioned when you get a payout, but now we're actually going to give you a sheet that kind of captures where you're at with your commission cap in terms of paying that down, as well as how the costs were procured for how the money came out of the commission check you earned. So I know that's, for some of you that might have been in bigger companies, this is not a big deal. You're like, I could take it or leave it. But for us, for making sure that we keep things as transparent as possible and give you a form of receipt for all of your earnings, I think it's going to be great. Of course, it's going to be great. Sorry, go ahead. Okay. It's a big deal in my opinion, and I hope you'll appreciate that. Additionally, Suite Assist will also operate as a CRM for all of the agents. This is going to be something that's really interesting because we are going to actually be able to pay for, as a company, and offer you each video campaign emailing like BombBomb. So BombBomb, if you ever looked into BombBomb, BombBomb is not cheap, but it's an incredible software tool, and it allows you to take a quick recorded email in your email or through the software directly and send it off as a little snippet. You might have seen like a moving image of somebody talking. This is going to allow you to send this to your agents, your coworkers, whatever you need, at no cost, no additional cost to you. It's something we've built into the software so you can have access to this. This is going to help for lead generation in a huge way. Transaction management. So yes, we do have RealComp, we do have Transaction Desk and AuthentiSign. Those are all provided to us through our MLS, and they are honestly, they're great tools. The only issue is sometimes we don't have all the documents captured and shared with us as a brokerage to make sure you're getting paid out appropriately. This is going to help kind of fill that stopgap. This is going to help one of those back-end processes to make sure you're always closing with all the disclosures you need. And if they're not being produced, if you maybe you forgot or you didn't even know they existed, it's going to give us a chance to look it over and go, hey, we need to add this. We're going to help you fill it out so we can catch you back up on this deal. We're not doing it to punish you. We're doing this to help you and make sure you never have an issue with legal or an E&O in the future. Remember, there's certain documents that errors and omission policies require to be able to protect you in the event you ever do have a mistake or that your client reneges. Somebody have a question? Okay. All right. So anyway, transaction management will be a major help for each of you. And again, this is also going to be offer. Just to
mute his phone.
Yeah, if you could mute your phones if you're not prepared to talk. Well, I do welcome any conversation or questions along the way, but we're getting some feedback. Okay, I'm going to continue. More changes.
Yep.
Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, John, could you mute your phone, please?
Is that John? Okay.
Yes. Can you mute him, Matt?
I think I
just mute everybody.
I got it. I got it. There it is. Cool. All right. More changes. So we've had people like Abby and Ethan help in the past with doing some social media creation for people. And Ethan may still be able to help. I'm not sure. We're going to catch up with him. He's got a lot going on this year. And I'm very excited for him if you want to share that. But we will actually have an individual social media chat channel within WhatsApp where if you guys have a picture or an event that you need help creating an image for that's real estate related, you can send it in and say, hey, here's my request. Can somebody please help me create a nice image to post on Instagram or Facebook? Maybe it's a headshot of you just saying, hey, I moved over here. Check me out. You can do the guns or whatnot. Or it's just a picture of a home you just got sold, you just did an inspection on, you just closed. I guess sold and closed are the same, huh? Or you just got under contract. Whatever it is, I highly recommend you guys use social media. I mean, think about it. This year has literally forced digital interaction on a level we could have never forced it. If you are not in the digital game, you might as well quit. I mean that fully, like wholeheartedly. You need to enter this digital game. There's no way around it anymore. Internet sales have never been higher and they'll never stay. The jump up is by leaps and bounds. And seeing how the software companies have developed out there, you got to make sure you are as proactive and interactive with whoever your social media group is. I know a lot of you people might be thinking, oh man, I never really done it. I don't want to make my first post and I look stupid. But guess what? Here's the benefit. If you don't have a big following, you don't have a whole lot of people to look stupid in front of. And if that small group of people sees you and they don't, and maybe a couple of people think you look stupid, so what? The people that don't think you look stupid, the people that respect that, hey, you're trying to do your thing, you're trying to build your business, those are the people that you want to follow you anyway. Okay, those are the people that are going to go, hey, Aaron did a great thing today. Paul did a great thing. Ryan did a great thing. I love that they put themselves out there and they're showing that they've been growing in their craft for the last couple of years. I totally forgot they were even in real estate. I got to remember that next time. That's why you got to do it. Some people forget you're in real estate because you're not showing it. Social proof is a real concept that you have to accept into your professional career right now. So don't be hesitant to do that in any way, shape, or form. All right, I'm done on social media. Let's move on. Overdue events. I can't even tell you how sad I am that we didn't get to do our Sips and Snaps event and our award party. Not yet, anyway. I was on the verge of canceling the award party, and I said, you know what? I can't do that. I just can't do it. So I'm postponing it. I'm postponing it until we can do it. I think taking away the award party due to the pandemic is one thing, but taking it away from you guys to celebrate you and what you've done as a company with us, that's not okay for me. I have to make sure we find a way to celebrate us as a whole company. And I promise you, we're going to do something one way or another. Hopefully things lighten up come spring. We can do it then. But you guys deserve something. If I don't see anything lightening up, we'll do some kind of outdoor award celebration because you deserve it. I can't say that enough. That's a must-have for me. Some of you guys might not know what the Sips and Snaps events, because unfortunately it got canceled every time we did it last year. Sips and Snaps is we have drinks, a couple snacks, and we hire a photographer. Well, we did one the first time, but we were planning to hire 2 to 3 where you can show up, have a couple of drinks to add a little warmth to your smile, and effectively pick the photographer you want to take the photos with, and they're going to take some headshots for you. We think it was a really fun event. We had a lot of fun at the last one, and I was like, you know what, it'd be the best thing if we created options for who takes their photos. We're going to have the photographers have kind of a sampling of what they do, what their style is on their desk. You can come up to them and say, I want photos from you. And that day, with your mimosa in hand, you go ahead and you have that as your beer, whatever your drink is, vodka, rum, I don't care. Enjoy yourself. Have a couple of great photos. It's gonna be a personalized photo shoot for you on our dime. That's the benefit, and that's what I really look forward to doing. I want to get back to that, and I think at this point, the second it's not too cold out, we're going to host it outdoors because it's just going to be too hard. I don't even think it's going to be possible to have that indoors at this point, unless we kind of do like a rotating. You come in, then they come out type of thing. But I think it might just be better to do an outdoor thing, maybe with a covered roof situation. Lastly, we were getting into monthly meetups, and they were really good. We were hosting food and drink. It was called Docs and Drinks. That was really fun, but again, COVID hit and that changed. So health and weather permitting, we're going to get back to it, but we're going to start off with quarterly meetups. Again, we're going to hopefully bring food that's easy to share and not contaminate drinks as well, and make sure that we get a chance to reconnect and rebond. This is part 3. Listen to all these changes. It's going to be a lot. We have new plans. This is probably the thing you've been most curious about. I'm really excited about these. So there's a new team plan that will allow 3 to 4 meetings per week directly with me. And you'll get broker level attention, as well as up to 30 leads per month, access to YLOPO, which is our AI software for internet, and FirePoint CRM. The cap on this is higher. It's 7,000, plus there's a monthly fee, but 8 to 12, all the support possible. We'll be able to help you also with your transaction management on all of those documents. The traditional cap, the 5K cap, that remains the same for all experienced agents. Largely what we want to see happen for this year as we bring on new agents is we want to make sure that we're putting them in the right places. Some people say they want team leads, they want this, they want that. There's going to be, we're trying to create a little bit of a buffer so people don't come in being, I guess, what's that word? Entitled. I've seen folks come in and go, they come in only for the leads, and they leave just as fast, and they blame everything on the leads. And really what I found is people who don't close deals, leads provided or not, are just not good agents. If you can find ways to close deals on your own without having leads provided to you, you're probably going to be a good agent forever. You just got to get more traction. Now, if you can have leads provided to you and still convert at a higher rate because now you have more leads coming to you, that's great. But if you are producing 0 and you get leads given to you and you're still producing 0, it's not the leads, it's you. Okay. And I want to start to work on removing that entitlement. I'm happy to provide as many leads as people want. We're going to start off with 30 leads per month, but if you're not closing within the first 2 to 3 months, anything, there's an internal factor that you need to acknowledge. More changes. Part 4. This is the pretty fun one, I believe, if I recall correctly. Okay. So new plans, part 2. Yes, there is more. Last year, we had a monthly plan where you could pay your commission over $350 per month, and it ended up being $4,200. This year, we're lowering it to $300 per month. So that's going to be a pretty significant savings. And then we also had a pay up front plan, which was $4,000 per month. This year, we're lowering it to $3,500. You pay that in the first 30 days of the year, and you're at 100% for the rest of the year. As many of you know, these plans are pretty ridiculous. We already had good pricing, but it's just getting better. Now I'm also, per some of my pro agents on the phone, they've expressed consideration for how we handle transaction fees, because some of these people are doing high volume. And I said, you know what? They're right. We do need to figure something out. So here's what it is now. All agents will now be capped on transaction fees paid to brokerages of $7,000 or 18 fees at $395. So if you do 30 deals, then that means the next 12 transaction fees you charge are 100% in your pocket. So even if you're charging, let's say you're charging, $450 or $500 per transaction. The difference on that transaction fee and the admin fee is yours to keep anyway. So there's always ways to make money on this, but just remember this. You have an obligation to the licensing board and your clients to make sure that whatever transaction you're charging is appropriate. And also it's noteworthy that FHA and VA mortgages, I believe the cap is $300 for each of those deals. So you can never overcharge that. So you'll always be limited on certain mortgage types. But for instance, I don't know about you, but I know there's some brokerages out there that charge exorbitant amounts. Some charge $9.95 to $14.95 per transaction. And that's, I think KW domain is, I think, the highest. So yeah, I could never justify to a client charging them $1,000 plus on a transaction fee. But yes, it does happen. And that is, in my opinion, robbery. So do not do that. And one last thing regarding transaction fees. If you don't want to wait to hit the transaction fee cap, we have a new option where you can pay the transaction fee plan up front, and it's $3,500, which is effectively just less. I think it's like 8 or 9 transaction fees paid up front in your first month. And that's it. You're done for the year. So no transaction fees. If you paid your cap up front, that's it. So effectively, you could pay $7,000 day one, have no cap and no fees on the rest of your deals for the rest of the year. So that's one of the ways that we're trying to make sure people have options in how they do this. Now, some of you might go, why would I do that? That's only going to be relevant for people that are hitting cap and doing high volume. So if you're doing high volume, that's going to be a big benefit for you. If you don't know how much production you're going to be doing, I don't necessarily recommend that plan for you. And if you ever came to me and said, hey, is this good for me? I'm going to tell you what's good for you. And I'm not going to remove my interest as the owner of WSR. So if you ever want to help figuring out what's a good plan, what's going to save you the most money, come talk to me. I'm happy to discuss it. Finally, this is the end of the changes. Okay, here we go. There's going to be a new recruiting plan. I do feel that our existing recruiting plan was not incentivizing you guys enough. And I felt that was a fault of our strategy and implementation. So moving forward, we're ending the previous recruiting plan. And the new plan is when you bring on a new agent, for everything they close up to their first 5 deals, you get $200. So you can earn up to $1,000 per agent you recruit. So their first 5 deals, you earn $200 per pay. Every time they close it, you get paid. The problem was with the last way we had our recruiting plan, it was after they capped. And the problem was it takes a while. It might take them a while to cap. It might take them 2 years for some people. Some people cap in one deal. We don't have a hard cap to hit, but as our caps have also gone down, we figured, how do we create more immediate incentive for you guys? And this is, I think, going to be a good way to kind of bridge that gap. And I hope you guys appreciate that. I think lastly, we're going to end this thing. I think we did pretty good. We're at 35 minutes here. I'm asking you guys kind of as a whole. I know it's always kind of awkward when you're on a big group Zoom call, but I really, really, really want to encourage the conversation. And I want to ask you, what do you guys want from WSR in 2021? What can I do as a broker and WSR as a brokerage to continue to add and improve your lives as realtor professionals for the rest of the year? I mean, you've seen a lot of the changes we're offering and implementing, and I hope if you have feedback on it, I do welcome it. But I want to just give you guys, the next 2 minutes to, if I hear next 1 minute, if I hear nothing for 1 minute, we'll move on to questions. Actually, either one of those. What do you want from WSR and any questions? We'll give it a minute. If we have silence for a minute, we're cutting it short.
Matt, I have a question.
Yes, sir. Antonio.
Yes. This packet that you put together, the slide deck, could I get a copy of that? Is that possible?
That is absolutely possible. I'm happy to do that.
Okay. And my other question is, yes, I would definitely like to maybe talk with you further about the transactions and things like that, the pricing, to have more familiarization with it moving forward for 2021 by me just coming back into the game and trying to get acclimated.
Yes, sir. We can absolutely do that. I'm happy to. And if anybody else feels like they need more clarity, we can either do like a small group call or just hold off for the majority of you guys to hang up to jump off the call, and we can get more into the detail.
Okay, one last question. Don't want to haul all the time, rest of the time. I'm currently looking for a property for myself. And as far as the transactions and doing the negotiations, I was just trying to get your input and expertise as far as putting in the offer.
Mhm.
For example, one house I'm looking at is 479, and I didn't want to go too far under the asking price, but at the same time have some wiggle room for negotiations.
Mhm.
And as the market now, I see people is willing to pay more than asking price to get that property. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm within that certain realm of when I do negotiate, I'm not insulting them, but at the same time, I don't want to, have no equity in the property. So what would be your recommendation?
I guess, quick question for you. How many days on market has it been on market?
It's been on the market for about a week now, week and a half.
Okay. And did you try scheduling a showing for it yet?
Yes, I did. I went, about 3 days ago.
Okay. And did you run comps on it yet?
That's what I was trying to get more familiar with in the system to run the comp. So I'm kind of struggling with that.
Okay. Well, I think these are really great questions. And I think, how about this? In our WSR agent chat, once we hang up on this call, I'll open a call up for us and anybody else that wants to dive into this property, and we'll review it together. All right. We'll go through the comps. We'll kind of figure out a target value price, because at the end of the day, the home has to appraise. I presume you're using financing. And when you're using financing, objectively, the appraisal company is going to come out there and go, hey, this is our opinion of value. And it's going to probably it's going to be weighted to a degree on what your offer price is, because that's showing what the market demand price available is for it. If they're saying, hey, an individual offered 460, that's the market saying we believe it's worth 460. So that's why that number that you offer actually creates a point of value for what the appraiser will actually consider the home is actually worth. And of course, it's going to look at sold data within the last 6 months, 180 days, within preferably a quarter mile of that property, similar square footage, basement, garage, yada, yada, yada. So we can look at that together in depth in just a few minutes if you like.
Okay, that's fine. Because today at 12, I have an appointment out in Wixom looking at some new properties, some new bills. So eventually in the next week or so, I'll be probably looking at putting a offer in on the property.
Okay.
So,
And I do want to warn you, like you mentioned in a week or so, I definitely recommend if you feel like the home is valued reasonably well, take action way sooner than that, because things are just going so fast. And even though you think it might, what you said it was on a week, it's not been on long enough where I think it won't sell this next week. So if it's priced reasonably, and we can hit it on that in the next conversation, you might want to take action sooner on that.
okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else with things that you might want to see or work with?
It's me, Matt.
Go ahead. Hey, Paul.
Hey, question. So if I'm doing a transaction for myself in my name for my property, and it's a lease, is the transaction fee $395?
No. So on leases and referrals, we do not have the $395 transaction fee. No, we have I think it's $100 transaction fee on that one. So
Okay, I forgot about that.
And after the cap is hit, then it's just that. But effectively, if you had paid your all upfront transaction fee, that will be removed from all deals, period, as well as once you hit your 18 or 7,000 in transaction fees. Of course, you got to be doing nearly 20 deals a year for that to be the case.
Right.
But that basically anybody who's doing full time deserves a reward for doing full time. That's the idea with that.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Good question. Any other questions or ways you want to work with WSR this year?
Hey,
And I have
Matt.
a
Go
question
ahead.
for you with regards to social media. I do appreciate you and WSR's, aggressive approach to making everything better all the time. So thank you for that. specifically with social media, are you going to host, or I know it's not necessarily your job entirely, but I would like to take 2021 to get way better on social media, make my presence a lot bigger. You mentioned like a couple of programs, and I'm just wondering like a holistic view, holistic approach to getting better at social media. Also something you would provide, or
Yeah. Hey, Patricia, how about this? I know that I'm spitballing here, but what if once a month for our monthly, we do a social media and a social media talk where we all jump on, we all create five posts for social media we intend to post throughout the month. And then you do it all on one fell swoop. You're already in, there's a software called Canva. It's really great. Ethan taught us all of that magic. Thank you, Ethan. And there's a few other things that we can show you if you're into doing video type posts. Byron's really good at this stuff too. Joe Wilson's gotten really good. Shayna too. Shayna's on the call. She's very, very smart at how she fabricates looks and verbiage for how she posts things. And Patricia is also quite good. But I think what we can do is we can host kind of a little thing, just say, hey, it's our social media. I like this idea. How do you guys feel about that? Like a social media month, like our monthly social media prep day. We get on for an hour. We talk about it. You can ask questions for that whole hour. You make 5 things. You share them with the group. You say, hey, what do you think of this one? Which one's ugly, good, bad, and yada, yada, yada. And at that point, you have at least 1 post per week for the rest of the month. Does that sound like something you guys would be interested in, or what do you think?
that's kind of what I'm looking for. Is just like maybe once a month, just kind of go through a strategy on some specific network, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Create the content. I guess I just need help with that and writing stuff. It doesn't come naturally to me.
Well, Andrew, I can tell you this based on the fact that you're doing that rehab right now. I highly, in fact, I demand it. I demand that you catalog with picture and video what you've been doing. If you have before and afters, there's so many ways you can tell that story. Like John Hawthorne does so much with building. And I think the one thing John doesn't have is somebody following him along to capture his story. I think John's story would be amazing. And I want to make sure he has somebody. So I'd love to help John, and you for that matter. If you're doing rehab projects, people look at people doing investment as they put you on a pedestal. So if you have that, Andrew, you don't have to be witty. You don't have to have the prettiest post, the coolest looking post. You just have to show them what makes you like an experienced, investor, and they're going to go, wow, this person knows what they're talking about, because you're coming from a position of education and knowledge, proven experience. If you do that, Andrew, you're gonna do so well, and it's gonna make doing social media for you super easy.
I have something to piggyback on that as far as social media goes. It's something that I brought up probably a year ago. I believe I talked to you and Ethan about it. But having like pre-made content for like holidays, so like having WSR tagged things where you have pre-made content that you can give to each agent. They can put it on their Instagram and put it on their Facebook, and that can kind of help get your social media wheels turning. And then you could do other things aside of that. So I feel like that's something that once a month, like maybe for like Easter or like the New Year or Christmas or holiday season, Thanksgiving, you can have one thing made per month, and that can help start getting social media posts out there and getting your name out there as well.
That's actually an excellent point, Aaron, and you're totally right. Part of that social media chat channel that we're talking about doing is, and I talked to Patricia about this last night. She's starting to handle the social media account for WS Realty. WS Realty is, I think, the name, the login name for the Woodward Square Realty account. But she's going to start posting the stuff that she makes for Woodward Square in this group chat. And as it comes in that group chat, that'll be stuff that you guys can repurpose. And so effectively, if she makes a happy Easter from Woodward Square and family, and if she posts that and you just impose Aaron Fox's face on it with his credentials at the bottom, boom, it's pre-made for you. Plus, we can do that with Canva because Canva has templates that we can create. We're gonna make sure we have a pro Canva account for sharing some of those templates if you want to make it on your own. But yeah, 100%, Aaron. Those are the things that we're actually gonna be doing. And also in Suite Assist, when you enter in it, like as an agent, when you go into it to enter in your transactions for like, hey, I just got this under contract. This may, you know, this has a high likelihood of closing. When you enter it in, you can enter in your client's address, either their primary or what will be their primary, as well as their email. And what we're going to be able to do with Suite Assist is we're also going to be able to, you can do this with the video campaign, or we can do it on your behalf. We're going to be able to send out the happy Easter videos, like the video email campaigns, like, hey, from Aaron and WSR family, thanks so much for this, for being a part of our family with your last purchase, yada, yada, yada. Happy Easter or Happy New Year, whatever the event is. We'll be able to send it on your behalf. It's going to create an autopilot opportunity for you guys to market yourselves when you forget. You get come Easter, you're probably wrapping up a couple listings or buyers, and you're also trying to get over to your folks' house for food or whatever, you know, whatever the thing is, whatever the holiday is. This way, WSR can do a better job of being a partner in your business and making sure that we're sending stuff out on behalf of you. It's not going to say from Woodward Square only. It's going to say from Samantha, from Ryan, from Kyle, from Lyria, from Zaid. It's going to say who it's from, and it's going to, if I have it my way, it's going to come from your email as well. So it seems more personalized rather than seeing some big corporate, you know, boring email. I want it to show you. And I figure if we do a better job as a brokerage of capturing and marketing for you guys, I mean, it's kind of a win-win.
I also had a question. I think it was 2 slides back.
Yes, sir.
I think I missed the bottom bullet point. It said something about pro agents and something to do with $1,000. I don't remember exactly.
Oh my God, I totally missed that. So yeah, that one I think you'd appreciate because you're coming up on that, my friend. So I'm creating a new plan, and I hope to clean it up in the next week or so. But I want to create a plan that makes to be rolled out. But this is a plan eligible to agents who have hit certain criteria, and we'll have an opportunity. I'm sorry, I miswrote that. We'll have a chance to earn $1,000 cap moving forward in their career with us. The base requirement right now that I do feel confident about is 3 years of hitting your cap. So if you hit your cap 3 years in a row with us, that's the first eligibility requirement. But obviously for folks, you know, Aaron, you're 2 years in, right? You know, you've done well in your first 2 years with us. And, you know, next year would be your eligibility year. So once you finish up, which is this year, I'm sorry, 2021, once you finish this up next year, presuming the other elements are hit, your cap for the following year for 2022 would be 1,000. So, you know, I hope people like, you know, everybody out there will appreciate that, because my goal with that is to show long-term appreciation for clients that bet on WSR. If you are showing loyalty to us, I'm showing loyalty to you. That's my point. And I hope that's like, for me, that's something I always felt was missing when I was like dealing with the KWs and the Remaxes of the world. I was like, I would see people hitting $25,000 caps for 10 years, go to an award party and get a $100 gift card to Chili. You gave them $250,000 and you had the audacity to give that agent a $100 gift card to Chili's. That blew that, like, I was livid. I was so frustrated with seeing this grossly disruptive, like, appreciation and lack of, when you have the power to do something good for somebody that's done something amazing for you. So that's my payback to you guys. As you guys continue to help grow us and through that loyalty, I'm going to make sure to repay that in kind.
Is there anything besides 3 years of capping, like any other requirement that we have to hit?
There's 2 more I'm trying to work out. I've got them pretty close, but I found a problem with it this last week. I was like, I got to figure out the solution for this one problem. But I should have that functional, I think, in a week.
Sounds good.
Yes, sir. Anybody else that I can answer questions for or that want to voice what you want from WSR for 2021?
Hey, Matt, this is Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey, I'm a new agent. I have a W-2 job, so this isn't kind of my main thing. So I haven't even worked with a new client yet to kind of sell them a house. Does WSR have some kind of document that we can kind of sit down with a new client and show them and explain like why they should choose WSR and particularly me as their real estate agent to give them confidence in like my ability to, be their agent? Is there some document like that?
Yeah. So mostly yes. And here's why that's a not a great answer. It's because it's being written. One thing I do have that book I've been writing for the last 2 years. I do have that. If you want to read that, I have a section that will literally hit that hit the nail on the head on that. So I'm happy to share that with you literally the moment we get off this call. That section goes into hyper detail on the approach and actually even different approaches to setting that up. But one thing I do want to hit on with all of you guys in that thought train is, listen, at the end of the day, it will not be who your brokerage is that sells or does not sell or list that property. I promise you. And here's why. Listen, I could give you a lead. I could tell you, hey, this is a Woodward Square lead. This is, I'd say, a 90% likelihood to convert lead. Just go do the listing appointment. Actually, maybe I think I'm going too far with that example. Here's my point. When they meet people, they meet people. If they meet Ryan Archer and they feel a confidence because they met Ryan Archer, they're going to go with you. People go with a gut feeling. Like you might have a really popular brand. It might be Bissell. It might be Shark. It might be Robo, whatever, iRobot, iRoomba. What is it? Roomba? Yeah, Roomba. Whatever the brand is, doesn't matter. You want the thing that's working for you, right? The thing that when you talk to it, when you communicate with it, it gives you the confidence you want. You're going to always see also the other strategy for people that don't know what they're doing. They'll overprice. They'll suggest they can sell a property for a higher number than the next best agent. But you got to learn how to combat that, because you got to say, hey, listen, I'm not going to suggest we sell your home for some super high amount nor some super low amount. I'm going to suggest we sell your home for a price that will actually appraise. And I think let's pick the range that a home is going to actually appraise. And if we want, let's go to the higher end. If we want to get max value, let's go to the higher end. We might see a $15,000 value in which a home may appraise in terms of where that change may lie, right? Depending on how they consider, is this a really nice kitchen or a kind of nice kitchen? Maybe whatever that is, if you communicate that to them, what I have found, one thing that's worked for me exceptionally well with my listings is when I say to them, hey, I'm here to educate you and show you how you can understand it in layman's terms. I'm not going to do all this, this magical stuff and talk like I'm going to do great photos, because you know what, at the end of the day, and also showing pictures of the photographers that you use is a big value too. Don't give them their contact info, of course, because then they'll just go use them. But you see a lot of agents that are at KW domain, that are at like the highest end stuff. And if you show them, hey, look this is a high-end agent. Would you agree this is a well-known brand? Let me show you the pictures of their last 2 listings, and it shows the agent in the mirror in the bathroom. Like, it's not good. The brand of a company will never be more valuable than you as a great agent. The brand is never going to grow if you don't form and build great agents. So that's our big change for 21. I want to make sure that we emphasize your strength and your power as agents, so we can make sure that, just like you said, so you walk in there well prepared. I want to share that book thing with you. I was working with another agent in the group right now that we're planning to have the checklists for how to do a listing presentation wrapped up very soon. And I also want to add this for people that don't feel confident with showing homes. I show homes pretty frequently, and I love having a sidekick. So if you want to go do showings with me, come with me. You'll see how I talk and communicate. And I have a high close rate because I focus on explaining to them what they're not seeing in the home. Think about it. When you're a new buyer, especially a first timer, you're so excited. You're trying to feel the emotions. You're trying to feel that I can see my furniture here and there, but they're not seeing that the gutters are missing. They're not seeing that there's a piece of siding that's falling off. They're not seeing that the grading of the land is sloping into the foundation, and they're going to have probably water issues. And then when you go downstairs and you look for water issues, you find them because they have the googly eyes. They're all excited. If you show them, oh my God, this person is the advocate in this professional purchase that I need, they're going to stay with you. They're going to really appreciate that because they go, it goes back to the Andrew Smith situation or the John Hawthorne situation, the Aaron Fox situation, where you know what you're talking about. And when you lead with experience, and Byron's on here now. Zed does an amazing, guys, if you are not watching Zed's, follow him on Facebook. His story is one of the best real estate stories I see these days. He captures his showings. He talks about what he likes and doesn't like in a house. He points out problems in homes. Like when I'm at a house, I'm looking at the trees. I'm like, where are the roots? Are the roots probably right in front of the drain? We got to get rid of that tree. And if nothing else, when we do the inspection, we got to get a sewer scope in there. Why? Because we want to make sure the roots haven't infiltrated the drain, because that's where you get those $5,000 and $8,000 fixes in Royal Oak, Ferndale area. So Andrew's dealing with one that's going to be, what 4,000 plus, I think what he said. That's the stuff you need to capture. And I think that's what's going to set you apart. But yes, we do have literature on that. We're going to have video on it soon.
Can I add something to complement what you just said?
Oh, please.
So, and now if, for example, I don't have all that knowledge that you have, Matt, you are at a brokerage where this knowledge exists. So that means that although I might not know something, I'm with a brokerage that is very knowledgeable, and I'm with a team of other agents and the broker that will help me, and that you're safe and secure as the client.
Absolutely. And you can always, literally on the spot, I've had agents do this where you say, hey, I don't know. Do you mind if I call my broker? I don't know how many of you guys have called me. And sometimes I get you on the first or second ring, but if nothing else, I've never not called you back. Right. And if you call me while you're with your client and you go, hey, Matt, can you answer this for us? I'm with my client right now. I'm going to answer it. And them seeing that they have access to a broker level individual gives you more validity and clout. And they go, you know what? I don't know why I'm worried about this. He was able to get the answer he or she was able to get the answer on the spot. Plus we have Byron Suggs in here, who's, a mortgage professional and, just opened Paramount Mortgage Group. So if you need a mortgage broker in-house, we have them. So between mortgages, between homes, there's really no question we can't answer. And let me reiterate this thing we have called a phone, right? If we go on WhatsApp, you can do a recording. You can show a video, you can record it, you can take a picture. I don't care if you're out and you send 10 pictures. You go, hey, is this a problem or do you see you think this is good work or bad work? If you send that on the WhatsApp group, I love responding to that stuff. Don't feel silly or stupid because you don't know an answer. Listen, if you've been doing this, 50 years and you don't know how to fill out a purchase agreement, yeah, I'm like, that's kind of suspicious. But if you're in your first couple years in real estate and you're not sure if the grading is good or bad on it, or you're not sure if this is a watermark or mold, take the picture. Say, hey guys, anybody can comment on this? That'd be awesome. We'll answer it. I'm happy to. And no one in our group is ever going to be allowed to talk down to each other in our WhatsApp group. This is a place of positive learning. And luckily, I haven't seen anything like that in years. When it first started, people were kind of got a little mouthy, and we cut that down. But don't be afraid to ever ask that question and get real-time feedback on while you're at these houses. Call me, video conference me, Facebook message video me, whatever it is. I'm all that's fine in this group. Use the WhatsApp group though, for sure.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, everyone.
Of course. All right. I think, we just hit the hour mark. So last time I'll ask this, anything you guys want from WSR from 2021 or any other questions you want to ask about our presentation?
I did have one question.
Hey, Shayna.
Hey, everybody. So I know you touched on the transaction fee, upfront costs, and commission costs. If we paid everything upfront, when would we have to pay that by?
The upfront fees will be paid within the first 30 days. So obviously, since it's the 9th and we rolled it out, by 2/9, I think that gives everybody ample time to get that done. Some people have already, some people who knew about the upfront plan from last year, They reached out to me already and they said, hey, I want to do the upfront plan. I said, well, what if I knock $500 off of it because we lowered the price this year? And they were very happy. So some people already paid their commission caps in full, 2 days ago. So some people are already at 100% commission in this moment.
Perfect. Do we just write a check to WSR or?
If you have a closing coming up, we can deduct it from the closing, or you can write the check. Correct.
Cool. Perfect.
Awesome. Thanks for asking.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, guys, unless anything else is pressing, let me know. But I really appreciate you all joining us today. I hope you're happy to hear the information we had to share. It comes from a very good place, and I can't even say it enough how much I genuinely hope you all have one of your best years ever in life, health, and wealth. So get out there, get after it, and I'll start a new Zoom call in just a minute to do stuff for Antonio. And if you guys want to join and learn about that property with me, I'll look for the Zoom link in the group chat in the next 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes, okay? All right, guys. Take care. Later. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
New Year.
Thank you.